Welcome back to the garage, everybody. Working on the old blue Willys today. Just a few things to show you. So first thing was making this panel for the fuel filler, to cover the fuel pump access. So that's where the fuel pump is. This goes here, and then it'll have some rivet nuts, or clip nuts rather, on the flange, and some hardware on top. So basically you remove this, and then you remove the ring on top of the fuel tank, and then you can pull the fuel pump without having to do anything else. So got that made. Still probably, it's like 95%, probably needs one last trim. It's got a little bit of taco to it, just from when I rolled in the beads. The fasteners will hold it down, but probably work on that just a little tiny bit more. So that was that. And then I made this little guy here. I don't know if you can see that or not. So that is a replacement for the end of the throttle cable, so I can make it a different length. So this is the factory. Sorry about that. So this is the factory end that was it's like a soldered on tin ball, and then there's this little rubber isolator that goes over that, and then that goes to this little clip, and then this clip is what goes in the pedal. So this will fit on this cable, and it has two 832 set screws in it. The cable can go through, and it can be adjustable and locked into the final position before you even trim the cable, or before you trim the inner cable. So should be able to use this little rubber piece and the plastic piece just like stock. So that solves out the end how to do that. And then I've got to remake this ferrule right here. This is what sets the length of the cable to the bracket. So this piece I got to retain. This clips into the bracket. This crimps to the outer sheath. So I'll just make another one of these in aluminum, and I think I can crimp it on with just with like my hydraulic battery, like a battery crimper crimp. So I think that'll work there. And then the fun part, we got in a couple parts for the intake. So show you how this works here. So this is the mass airflow sensor that the computer has to have. So mass airflow sensor, this is just the factory GM part. This is a silicone reducer from 4-inch to 3.5 inch. This is more like 3 and, it's funny, this is more like 3 and 5/8. This is more like 3 and 7/8. So it's a weird size, but this is a 4 to a 3.5, and I was able to kind of stretch and shrink it into place. It's about as short as you can get. I mean, there's a little bit of space between the flanges in there, but only, only about 3/8 of an inch. So that goes there, and then this is the inlet side, and then this has 3 of these little mounting holes here. And I think that was to be able to mount it to the box in a couple applications, but there's 1, 2, and 3. So I think I'm going to have to use those to make a piece that goes onto this, that recesses the flange of the filter a little further back, perhaps. Probably going to be a 3D printed part. And this is what I found. I really like these Donaldson Power Core. These are made by Volant, but this is basically, or these are sold by Volant. These are a Donaldson part. So these are their Power Core filters. These are really good filters. They're dang near lifetime filters, especially if you run a pre-filter on them. Even then, still, like, most of the dirt just comes right out of them. So this was one of the larger ones I could find, more for life, and it had an interesting shape that I can use. So it has this large oval opening, and I think I'm going to have to be able to, I think I'm going to use that to go over the entire math and do that offset I was talking about. It doesn't have to be, I don't think the offset has to be much, but I can shift the filter this way over the electronics and the plug, and I do have to angle the filter down slightly that way in order for it to clear the hood when it closes. But overall, it's not too bad, really. So you can see stuff clears. But anyways, so I have to go through and reverse engineer this mounting pattern and clocking and everything on that MAF, and then 3D print, I think, a adapter that will go to the back of this filter. So it's got this big oval opening. So that's the plan for the air filter stuff. I think I'm probably going to have to, this is pretty sturdy, but I really don't want a ton of leverage on the air horn. So I think I'll have to come up with a way to build a bracket that's mounted to the engine that will support the weight of the filter hanging out here. Don't know what, I mean, we've got a mounting boss here on the alternator mount. Looks like the dipstick has one there. I don't really want to grab header bolts if I can help it. So I got to do some looking around and see if I can find something. I might be able to come off the motor mount down there, but yeah, something just to hold the weight of the filter up from the bottom. And maybe, thinking about it, maybe if it had a heat shield on that bottom to keep the header heat off the underside of the filter, that would be pretty cool. So got that all mocked in there. And then the last thing is made up this test cube for the gas tank welding. So this is the same 18 gauge 304 stainless as the gas tank. This was just some scraps. It's a 6x6 cube, and this is just a purge hole. So the hose goes in there, and that'll allow me to purge the back of the tank, and then I can use this, use all these seams to help dial in the weld settings for the stainless outside 18 gauge corners. So it's a little delicate. So instead of trying to test on the tank, I want to test on this and do that. So I think that's about it for today on the old Blue Willys. So a couple fun little projects, and yeah, I think we're getting close to. I got some parts coming for the exhaust. I'm going to convert the headers from the 3-bolt flange. I'll show you that real quick. So these are the. Oh, sorry. Ugh. These were the flanges that came with the headers, and to be frank, they're pretty terrible. So they're just kind of boogery welds. They have this weird offset. So the idea is you can like turn it to point it a certain direction or whatever, but I don't know. Getting all the bolts in these always leak. I don't know. Just not a high quality part in my opinion. So I am going to replace those on the headers themselves just with a 2-inch V-band. So I'll have to do a little bit of a cone adapter, and then to the V-band, 2-inch V-band, 2-inch Y-pipe, and then a merge, a muffler, and then 2.5-inch, I think, exhaust past the merge, and then that'll go out the back. So got parts coming, do a little bit there, and oh, I did this is a fun one. Let's see here. So I 3D printed some of these exhaust layout blocks. So you can see these, there's I don't know, 4 or 5 of them here. They're 15 degrees each. And I will be using those for mocking up the 2-inch Y-pipe for the exhaust because it's so tight around the drive shaft like we talked about. So yeah, we'll get that coming. And exhaust is kind of one of the last real big projects, I think. And then once the exhaust is done, I can do the belly pan, and then it's time to wire this thing and do a little bit of plumbing, and then it is, dare I say, almost done. All right. Thanks a lot. We'll see you later. Thanks for following along. If you have a question, drop a comment below. There's a bell for notifications, and then subscribe to the channel if you would. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Bye.